This interview was recorded on October 29, 2025. At the time, federal funding for SNAP benefits was uncertain due to the government shutdown. On October 31st, a federal judge directed the administration to use contingency funds to cover SNAP benefits. However, Oregon's distribution of those benefits may still experience delays. You're tuned in to Let's Talk Tillamook, your hometown source for local stories about the news and issues that matter to you. I'm your host, Shaena Peterson. Today we're joined by Julia Wentzel, Regional Manager of Tillamook County Services for Oregon Food Bank. Hi, Julia.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Really glad you're here. So much going on. Julia, we're seeing so many headlines about SNAP, the rise in food insecurity. Tell us a little bit, what is SNAP?
So SNAP is also known as food stamps, and that's government assistance to low-income families who are not able to purchase sufficient food to keep their families fed.
What does that mean for our community?
It means a lot for our community in particular, and really for communities across the country. We're seeing about 1 in 6 individuals in Tillamook County using SNAP. There's actually a number of people in Tillamook who qualify for SNAP who are not even receiving those benefits. So a pretty high level of low-income families who are lacking the buying power they need to have sufficient food in their homes. And so it's 1 in 6 individuals and 1 in 4 children just in Tillamook County.
My goodness, we are going to be impacted. Now, how will changes in SNAP that are mandated by HR 1, how are those going to impact Tillamook?
They are going to have a pretty profound impact beginning on January 1st. We don't entirely know how that's going to play out just because it will initiate a case-by-case examination of people's benefits. So it'll take a little bit of time for the Department of Human Services to review each of those cases and determine who gets to keep their benefits as is. But the number one thing we're really concerned about is eliminating the waiver for able-bodied adults to receive SNAP. So right now we have a waiver where if you're able-bodied but are not making enough money to purchase enough food for your family, you can still receive the SNAP benefits you need. It may not be the maximum available, but it is still available to you. And that's going to go away in January. And so once you're determined to be an able-bodied adult, you will only qualify for 3 months of SNAP assistance every 3 years. So we're going to see a really profound reduction in SNAP benefits that are available to adults. Now, of course, adults are the ones doing the grocery shopping, so that's still going to really impact families. That's going to impact children. That could still have impact on folks who are unable to work for other reasons that maybe the government is not able to see clearly, but is really impacting people's ability to earn the money they need to buy food.
And now, explain to us what happens because of the shutdown.
So we really sort of have a nesting doll situation happening here with our SNAP benefits and food insecurity in general. In addition to the reduction in SNAP that we know is for sure coming January 1st, we are also facing a freeze of SNAP benefits for everyone immediately beginning November 1st if the government shutdown continues. USDA, the agency that controls SNAP benefits across the country, has previously used contingency funds, so emergency funds that are available now and in previous government shutdowns, to extend those SNAP benefits to people even though the government is not operating fully. USDA as an agency has determined in this case not to access those funds. So that is actually an agency decision that has occurred where they have decided not to use those funds to extend those SNAP benefits right now. So that means that anyone relying on any amount of SNAP assistance will no longer have those funds effective immediately on November 1st.
They know immediately they have no dollars.
That's right. So SNAP benefits in general show up on like a debit card essentially, and those benefits are filled every month. It's a little bit of a rolling basis, but a lot of folks will get them on the first of the month or in that first week of the month. And so those benefits just won't be refilled going into November. And so we're already seeing the real fear and panic that that's causing for families in Tillamook. This week, our pantries across the county, which have already been operating at capacity, have seen an even bigger surge in visits because people are really afraid of what next week is going to look like and how they're going to be able to feed their children.
Talking about that, Julia, how do people help? People want to help.
People really do want to help. I will say that we have seen such an incredible outpouring of support from our community, which is really encouraging. I think there are several pieces here, so I'll try and kind of break apart some different options that we have. The first one is if you can donate funds, that is the number one thing to do. If you can go to OregonFoodBank.org, you'll see options to donate. If you want to make sure your dollars stay local in our community, you can go to the Tillamook location and there's a donation page specifically for Tillamook so you can make sure those dollars are staying more local. So those are options. You can also reach out to pantries in your area. If there's a food pantry in your community, reach out to them directly. They can also take that financial support. But we are positioned to stretch your dollars a lot further than you can as an individual. Our buying power is just much better. So we can get a lot more food with your dollar than you can. So if you're able to contribute financially, that's the number one thing you can do. We also love receiving food donations. We've gotten a lot of feedback of people doing food drives in their communities. We have Oregon Food Bank barrels popping up all over the county for donations. I do encourage you to try your best to maybe purchase a couple of additional items that are your favorite shelf-stable pantry items, as opposed to cleaning out the back of the cupboard. We want to make sure that people are really getting the food that they need and that they can enjoy and that is healthy for them. So buying a little bit of extra maybe and finding a place to donate. If you do choose to donate food, please reach out in advance to the food bank or the food pantry so that we can make sure someone is there to receive you. We are all very short-staffed and trying our best, so please keep that in mind if you're considering food donations.
Who can go to the pantries?
That's an excellent question. The short answer is anyone who needs to. There are posted guidelines at our food pantries that indicate folks at 3 times the federal poverty level are who qualify to receive food assistance. But there is no need to prove your income level when you get there. So it'll say that, and then we ask you to self-identify as someone who needs that assistance. We will ask for a little bit of very basic information from you, but you can decline to give that information if you're not able to share details about yourself. We totally understand that not everyone feels comfortable doing that. So you should feel comfortable saying, anonymous, or just giving a zip code as opposed to your address or any kind of identifying information that you want to keep confidential. We have pantries all across the county from Nehalem down to Hebo and Pacific City. They're all open various times and days, but we have all of that information consolidated in one place, OregonFoodFinder.org, and that's actually statewide, so you can use that resource to look up pantries and meal sites in your area.
Excellent. You were telling me how many people depend on SNAP.
Yeah, in Tillamook County, it's about 15% of our residents. And again, there are a lot of people who qualify for SNAP who are not taking advantage of those benefits as well, which means there's a lot more people experiencing food insecurity. So what we tend to see is that people have to pull together a number of different resources to find enough food. So folks will rely on SNAP benefits for the part of the month, but when those benefits run out, and the average SNAP recipient is getting about $6 or $7 a day. So we're not talking about big buying power with those benefits, but it's better than nothing. But then they need to turn to the pantries to fill out the rest of the month or to find other items. So people are really cobbling together a lot of resources to find what they need. I think we all know how much food prices have gone up so dramatically in the last several years. We're all feeling that at the grocery store. So you can imagine how someone with low or no income is experiencing that.
It's just so sad when I hear a young woman, a single parent, list her monthly bills, and it totals her income before she's even bought any food.
Exactly. We like to say that people aren't making bad choices, people are given bad choices. When you're having to choose between paying your rent and having transportation and buying food for your family, those are impossible choices. So people are in a really tough spot, and we're just doing everything we can to at least mitigate the pain.
Well, I'm really glad we're talking about this, Julia. What happens that Congress gets their act together and the shutdown goes away? Where are we then?
We are in a different level of food security crisis at that point. Slightly less at the boiling point, but certainly still in a pretty tough situation, I would say. So if the government reopens, we expect that SNAP benefits will be issued immediately. They should be back paid, so folks will see the benefits they didn't receive, but it can take a while for those benefits to show up. So in the bigger picture, they may still get those dollars to spend at the stores, but in the short term, they need to eat today. And so it's quite a pinch that they're in. But if the government reopens soon, we'll see those funds pouring back in for folks to spend now. However, we also have legislation coming out of the big bill that was passed this year, which means that January 1st, we're going to see those bigger changes in SNAP benefits and eligibility. And those, again, are around able-bodied adults, a lot of documentation status changes, so folks who are here legally are still going to be impacted, just all kinds of changes that are going to make it tougher to have and maintain SNAP benefits.
Is that information available if someone wants to go online and find a little bit about it?
It is available. So on OregonFoodBank.org, we have a number of resources. You'll see the news section. We have a number of posts bringing together different resources, really talking through how these pieces will impact individuals.
Wonderful. Let's remind people how they can find a food pantry.
Yes, if you're looking for food, I know it's a tough moment, but there is still food available. And so you can always go to OregonFoodFinder.org to see all the different resources available across the state. You can filter those down by different options and search by location.
And again, the best way to help our food bank is with dollars.
That's right. And I understand that's not available to everyone, but certainly even a few dollars here and there can really help. I do also want to stress the scale of this crisis at this moment is honestly beyond the capacity of our food bank network to address. And we have 30 different food pantries, meal sites, and community partners working across the county tirelessly to try to keep people fed in a really challenging time. But they have already been working at capacity before these changes to SNAP have come along. And so really getting creative and exploring mutual aid opportunities, pay it forward opportunities, picking up an extra bag of groceries for your neighbor, anything you can do that doesn't put additional strain on a system that frankly was not built for this level of traffic will help us as well. I think it's really important to point out that at the end of the day, a lack of access to food is not because food is not out there, it is because of policy choices being made. So another thing that we can do is make sure we're reaching out to leadership on the federal level, on the state level, to make it clear that people deserve to be able to access food. Having a healthy community is important to us. There's also the economic impact it has on our community. SNAP dollars bring in something like $500,000 a month to Tillamook County. So think of the impact that's having on local grocers, on local stores. Anyone who takes SNAP benefits is going to have a huge hit with these fluctuating benefits coming through our community.
Right. And as you said, some of it's going to change January 1st, no matter what.
That's right. And I think continuing to advocate for food as a human right, healthy communities as something that we prioritize, so that in the bigger picture, we can really work to claw back a little more of this really important resource. Because again, food banks are here to make sure someone has food today, but we really need to be looking at how we can make sure someone gets fed in the bigger picture. And we can't continue to put all of this strain on a system that's just not designed to sustain everyone over this period of time.
Really, very true. I noticed our food bank interacts with our schools, too.
We do. We have a couple of pantries operating out of our Tillamook High School and Tillamook Junior High, and we support some food access programs at schools across the county. We're always looking to grow that as much as we can. We have a number of public pantries that are available to everyone, and then we also have a pantry in the Tillamook Bay Community College and community partners who are working with specific groups who need additional food access as well.
How does a pantry come together? What if someone said, I want to start a pantry in my area?
Yeah, that's a great question. They reach out to us. I would say I encourage you to think hard about sort of how sustainable it would be for you. Most of our pantries rely on almost entirely or entirely volunteer support. So do you have a community of volunteers who you can rely on for months or years to be consistent? Because, you know, in these moments of crisis, having these kind of creative problem solving and pop-up opportunities is great. But what we really need is sustained support for our community. So if that's something that you're interested in providing, certainly reach out. At this point, we are operating with a pretty limited flow of food, and it is a serious concern. And so we do think seriously about what a new pantry would bring to our overall network. Are you going to be in a part of the county where we don't currently have services? Could you be open after work hours or on weekends? Are you serving a demographic that maybe is not able to access other pantries that already exist? That kind of value added piece to our overall network is really the most important thing. And we don't expect you to know if that's true or not. That's why you would reach out to us and we would talk about it and see if that's the right fit.
Remind us again how listeners can help. And I heard you say OregonFoodBank.org, but there's a way if they want to donate to our food bank?
That's right. You can go to the Tillamook location itself, just at the bottom of Oregon Food Bank's website. You'll see locations and you can go right to Tillamook. If you donate through that page, that will earmark those dollars to be spent in our community directly. Again, you can also reach out to a local food pantry. If there's someone doing this work on the ground that you already are in touch with or see every day, that's a great place to help as well. Food donations are also welcome, but again, please reach out to us. We can't guarantee someone's always in our warehouse to receive it, but we do want to work with you to get that food in the door. And then again, creative thinking. This is a really unprecedented moment, and so we need unprecedented solutions to this problem. So if you have an idea, you can let me know and let's talk about it and we'll see how we can get that off the ground. We have the holidays coming up, so the timing is particularly urgent, but we want to make sure that families have something to put on the table for the holidays. We do see a ton of support from the community around that time, and we're so appreciative. A couple things that have been really effective have been Fred Meyer and Safeway will offer a free turkey with $100 purchase, or however they set it up each year, but that you can actually bring that turkey to us.
Grocery Outlet did that.
Yes, Grocery Outlet as well.
They reminded me, and I said, oh, I've already got my turkey. I should not have said that.
Yes.
I should have got that extra turkey.
Exactly. So in that moment, say, yes, I'd love that turkey, and bring that on over to us, and we make sure that goes out to a family in need. So that's a great time to do that. Grocery Outlet is also going to be offering Groceries for Good, which is going to be an option for folks to purchase a $10 bag of pantry staples when they are at the cash register. With that purchase, they'll put that bag aside for us to make sure that gets out to someone as well. And I know that Chester's down in Pacific City is planning to offer a holiday bag this year. You are welcome to purchase an additional holiday bag, and they will again work with us to get that out to a SNAP family whose benefits have been impacted.
Excellent. People do care. People are so concerned.
People really understand that food is so important, and we're so grateful to see this outpouring of support, and we really just want to make sure that energy is getting to the people who need it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anything else you'd like to add?
We're so grateful. Thank you to everyone for your support. Feel free to reach out with ideas. For all ears, we're here to work with you to take care of our county.
My thanks to Julia for joining us and to you for listening. These conversations are about understanding how policy changes affect us right here at home. Watch for the next episode coming soon, and don't forget to subscribe to Let's Talk Tillamook on YouTube so you can listen anytime. I'm Shaena Peterson. Thanks for tuning in, and let's keep talking.